In 1997, the vodka market was dominated by Russian and Eastern European brands. Consumers believed the best vodka came from centuries-old recipes distilled in the frigid climates of Russia and Poland. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a sleek, matte bottle labeled "Product of France" appeared on the shelves of upscale stores. In just 5 years, this French vodka became the #1 premium spirit in America, costing twice as much as its competitors and selling over $1 billion, all without owning a distillery. That's what we're going to explore in this video today, and I promise you, this story will change the way you think about luxury brands forever.
But to understand how Grey Goose made the biggest breakthrough in the 20th century spirits industry, we need to go back in time, far back. It was 1976. The Cold War was raging. Disco dominated the nightclubs. And in New York, a liquor importer named Sidney Frank was struggling to make a living with his modest German liquor portfolio. For decades, Frank remained a minor figure in the spirits industry, until one day in the 1990s, he noticed something strange happening in vodka bars. His first thought? People were paying $15 for a vodka martini, while vodka was essentially tasteless. His second thought? Nobody offered a truly premium vodka selection. And his final thought? What if I created the world's first super premium vodka and branded it French? What followed was a master lesson in marketing. Instead of following conventional industry wisdom, Sidney Frank makes 3 crucial business decisions. First, he decides to make his vodka in France, a country with 0 vodka heritage. Second, he prices his bottle at $30, when premium vodkas were selling for $15 to $17. And third, he launches with virtually no advertising budget, focusing instead on getting bottles placed in upscale bars and restaurants. Wait, hold on a minute. Vodka made in France and selling for twice the price of top premium brands? That completely flips the script on everything we thought we knew about the spirits world. And here comes marketing lesson number 1. When you can't win on heritage, win on perception. Here's where Frank showed his genius. He knew he couldn't compete with centuries of Russian or Polish vodka heritage. So he positioned Grey Goose not as traditional, but as innovative luxury. The customer wasn't buying vodka. They were buying perceived quality and status. Look at the brilliant packaging choices. The frosted bottle suggests purity. The clear window shows the crystal clear liquid. The French name plays on the association with luxury goods. Every detail was engineered to suggest premium quality. I'll make the French vodka, and I'll make it the most expensive. If it's the most expensive, they'll buy it. Sidney Frank, 1996. The man literally designed a vodka brand based on the psychology of luxury pricing. And you know what? He was exactly right about consumer behavior. But creating a premium-looking bottle was just the start. Grey Goose needed to establish itself as the choice of the sophisticated elite. Instead of traditional advertising, Frank created a brilliant seeding strategy focused entirely on influencers, before influencer marketing was even a term. But here's the crucial part. They weren't just placing bottles in any bars. They strategically targeted exclusive nightclubs in Miami and New York, celebrity-frequented restaurants, high-end hotel bars, private clubs, and first-class airline lounges. Each of these venues catered to status-conscious consumers who would see Grey Goose as an opportunity to signal sophistication. And once these trendsetters started ordering it, everyone else followed. Marketing lesson number 2. Create status through strategic scarcity and placement. A former spirits industry executive explained Grey Goose's thinking. Sidney didn't just buy shelf space, he bought bar space. He knew that when people order a drink in public, they're also making a statement about themselves. This wasn't just distribution, it was strategic status creation. Pure genius.
But Frank's real stroke of genius was understanding that in a category where product differences are minimal, the perception of quality matters more than actual quality. And here comes marketing lesson number 3. When products are similar, sell the story, not the substance. While other vodka companies were fighting over filtration methods and water sources, Grey Goose was quietly building something much more valuable, a compelling origin story. The story went that Grey Goose was made from the world's finest French wheat from the Picardy region, distilled only once to preserve character, and filtered through champagne limestone. See the difference? Absolute vodka might talk about being distilled 1,000,000 times. This kind of suggests harshness that needs to be removed. However, Grey Goose celebrates minimal processing of superior ingredients. And here are some interesting stats on Grey Goose. In a blind taste test, Grey Goose ranked number 8 out of 12 premium vodkas. However, when consumers were asked about perceived quality, Grey Goose ranked number 1 out of 12. By 2000, Grey Goose was selling over 1.5 million cases annually at nearly twice the price of its competitors. This wasn't marketing. This was masterful perception management. In blind taste tests, the average vodka consumer can rarely identify premium brands from standard ones. But we're selling an experience, not just a spirit. Industry executive. What's remarkable is how quickly this approach worked. Most spirits brands take decades to build. Grey Goose did it in less than 5 years. By 1998, Frank executed another brilliant move. He entered Grey Goose in the Beverage Testing Institute's competition and won the designation of World's Best Tasting Vodka. This single accolade became the centerpiece of their entire marketing strategy. Every bottle, advertisement, and cocktail menu mentioned this award, creating instant credibility. And here's Grey Goose by the numbers. The original investment in Grey Goose was $3 million. Their average marketing spend after initial success was $60 million. In 2002, they sold 1.5 million cases. They achieved an 80% profit margin versus the industry average of 30%. And finally, they were featured in over 300 hip-hop songs by 2006. Instead of spending decades building heritage, Grey Goose created instant pedigree through strategic validation. Think about how revolutionary this is. Frank created a brand in 1997 and sold it for $2.3 billion to Bacardi in 2004. That's a 7-year journey from concept to billions. Marketing lesson number 4. Third-party validation creates instant heritage. Marketing professor and author Kevin Lane Keller explains why this works so well. Grey Goose didn't have time to build heritage, so they borrowed credibility through awards, placement, and associations. They compressed what should have taken decades into just a few years. All of this brings us to perhaps the most brilliant part of the Grey Goose strategy: celebrity adoption. By the early 2000s, Grey Goose had become a staple in hip-hop lyrics, music videos, and celebrity events. But here's the shocking part. They rarely paid for these placements. The brand had become so associated with status that artists and celebrities voluntarily included Grey Goose in their public persona. By 2005, Grey Goose was mentioned in over 300 popular songs, creating a cultural phenomenon known as the Grey Goose effect. Vodka had transcended being just a spirit. It had become a cultural shorthand for success. But here's what's truly remarkable. Throughout this entire process, Grey Goose spent relatively little on traditional advertising. The cultural momentum created through strategic placement and celebrity adoption did the heavy lifting. And here's our final marketing lesson. True luxury brands are adopted, not advertised. Think about it. When a brand truly becomes luxury, it doesn't need to beg for attention. People want to be associated with it because it says something about them. It conveys status, taste, and success, without them having to say a word. Grey Goose became the drink you see in VIP lounges, in music videos, and backstage at awards ceremonies. Not because Sidney Frank bought expensive ads, but because trendsetters chose it as their symbol. And that's the final piece of the billion-dollar lie. Grey Goose isn't actually better tasting. It's not a more authentic vodka than Smirnoff or Absolute. What it does have is better marketing. Sidney Frank doesn't just sell vodka, he sells a feeling, a statement, an identity. And he understood that once you win over the influential people, the rest will follow. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next analysis. See you in the next videos.